PvP in V Rising is incredibly diverse with tons of weapon and ability options and combos you can rock. Having already dumped well over 70 hours into the game on PvP servers and being able to raid, skirmish, and duel a good amount, I've decided to break down what I think are currently the strongest PvP abilities. Please keep in mind that I think a large amount of the abilities in this game are PvP viable, and a lot of it comes down to skill and playstyle, so keep that in mind if you have an ability that you use that you think I'm sleeping on. With that being said, let's talk about the best abilities and also touch on some of the crazier ultimates. To start off, let's talk about Chaos Volley. Chaos Volley allows you to launch 2 Chaos Bolts in a sequence that deals 125% magic damage and inflicts Chaos Burn. You get this ability from a very early boss, which you have Lydia the Chaos Archer. So this is an early ability that you can get, and it's just remains strong. There's a couple things I want to note before we continue with this and talking about it, is that this is an ability that is a bit niche to make it work to its full potential. Number one, I don't have it on right now, but you'll want Scholar Blood on if you're going to be running this ability in PvP because you need that extra spell damage to really amplify and make this worth it. And two, it's not required, but I highly recommend running Power Surge with it. I was actually put on this by some YouTube comments on one of my build videos. Some guys were talking about it and saying how they used it. I was like, okay, I'm going to check this out. And I've been using it with great success. I think it's really strong. The combo gives you a lot of fluidity in terms of mage fighting, and running it with usually like the Reaper. It allows you to kind of have that kind of cast dist. I like running with the mace because I can charge in with the Power Surge shield or kind of jump out as well. But what Power Surge does specifically, I should explain that actually real fast, I apologize, is it removes all negative effects on you. So that means any slows, any weakens, any of that, and you apply a shield on target ally or self that shields the target for 150% of your spell power, and then you increase your movement speed and attack speed while the shield lasts. So again, this is why it works, because when you run that Scholar Blood and you have a boost in your spell power and everything, you're gonna be doing so much more damage with this Chaos Volley. That Chaos Burn is gonna be nice, and then that shield is gonna be even bigger, and it just allows you to kind of have a lot of ability to kind of back out. I'm so sorry, but I shielded an invisible person there for some reason. Either way, you can shield yourself and have that nice movement speed, which movement speed and dueling in this, I'm sorry, sorry. Movement speed is just really powerful, and pairing that with the Chaos Volley is really good. I don't think this ability on its own is worthy of the best PvP, but when paired with the Chaos Volley, which I think is the best PvP ability, everything just fits together. And we're going to hop in some footage. You can kind of see what I'm talking about and how it works. In this clip here, you see I get hit by the slow from his ice ability, so I Power Surge, which gives me that nice break from his slow, so I can dodge his summon and then throw out another volley on him to kind of get that damage out and kind of keep going. And while the shield was still up, it dropped right as I went in, but the idea was while the shield was up, I can hop in and trade a little bit. As you kind of keep doing that, we reset the battle here. So if something comes out, so I'm going to try to move to the side here. It's going to hit me, but it actually knocks me out of the slow. But as the duel is going on, I'm going to want to pop that Power Surge once again. Just kind of get that shield back up if I can. Give me that kind of movement speed as I throw out my Scythe and then follow with some more Chaos Volleys and bring him down here as I swap back over the mace and jump in on him. You can also rock Purgatory with this ability, just because Purgatory is overall a strong ability, which we're going to be talking about soon, that kind of gives you a lot of plays. But when doing this, you got to keep in mind how you want to run around in terms of gameplay, because you won't have the double range. So that gives you some options with some engage and disengage as you kind of play around with this ability. But the Chaos Volley damage is just so strong. It's so fast to shoot out that twice you get to throw it for the damage you get. It's really, really strong. And it has a really strong just kind of play style with it. So it's really simple but effective ability that in PvP can just wreak havoc. The next PvP ability we're going to talk about, those are going to be Wisp Dance and Singwing Coil. So Wisp Dance you get from the third to last boss, which is Gore Crusher the Behemoth. That's what he drops. It's a really nice ability. What it says is it summons 3 wisps that circle around you, dealing 25% magic damage to enemies. Recast to launch all 3 wisps as projectiles, dealing 50% magic damage, and weakening the target, reducing damage output by 30% for 5 seconds. As we get into the abilities for PvP, I think a big thing to also try to remember and make sure you're doing in fights is because the fights often go by pretty fast, that finding the way to apply weakens or make their own armor kind of weaker as you damage them, which I believe is called amplify, or having some type of like life stealing ability are often really good because the fights are so fast that these 5-second damage reductions could sometimes be the whole fight, if not, worst case scenario, half to a quarter of the fight. So what the ability looks like is you pop it like this. You see these kind of dance around you, and you have a chance to recast it, which if you do, shoots them all out very fast. So again, there's a lot of versatility where you can kind of pop it and kind of have it up as you kind of fight melee, and you don't even have to worry about recasting it. Or on the flip side, you can start it off and kind of have it in this melee mode as you fight, and if like space is created, you can then recast it and use it there. So that's why I think it's really strong in PvP. The damage is actually pretty impressive. I know it doesn't seem like a lot because it's 25 and 50%, but you gotta recognize that it's all these little orbs that hit are 25. So if they are just staying right away, or if you just pop this real fast and all 3 hit, it's actually gonna be a surprising amount of damage, and it just gives you a lot of versatility and outplay potential because of how you can either make it a melee or a ranged ability. So that's why I think that's really good. I'm gonna go over footage here after I kind of talk about these abilities to kind of showcase what they actually look like and walk through how they're good in PvP, so just be ready for that. The second one is the Sanguine Coil. This is a launching projectile that deals 75% magic damage and leeches 40% health on enemy hit. This heals allies for 100% and self for 40% of your spell power on ally hit. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to have to go and kill Meredith the Bright Archer for this one, which is right here, level 52. You get this from her, so you just gotta go and kill her. If you actually want to know where she's at, she's normally in the haunted mines, haunted iron mines. So just go there, you can kill her. You get 3 orbs that you can shoot out, and when they land, they'll deal damage and then heal you. You can also, if you are in a clan, pretend this pillar is my ally and this red light is an enemy. I can bounce between the two and damage one, or I could heal an ally, that type of thing. The caveat with this ability is obviously, just like the Wispan's second cast, is a skill shot and it's fast. So you gotta make sure you're strong with it, you're quick with it. But it's really strong because healing in PvP is almost impossible. You never get a second to drink a pot during a battle or to back out, go in the Bloodman. Like, you just won't get this amount of time in the battle to do so. So finding ways to get some type of healing in your clan is really good. And this, where you have the versatility to heal allies or deal damage and heal yourself, and either way you'll be healing yourself as long as it hits someone, is really, really strong. And also just the fact of how quick it is that shoots out. It's a very fast projectile, and it doesn't take, there's no casting time. It's 0.5 seconds. So as you're fighting and you're in the chaos, it's really easy to kind of pop it real fast and damage people and heal. And as you can see, it will build up to 3 charges, so you can kind of be versatile in that. So that's why I like these two together, because you have that self heal and you have that damage reduction, and it allows you to trade really aggressively. Where if again, let's pretend this pillar is an enemy, if I pop this and I jump in and I'm trading with them, I can pop out, recast it if I want, but even if I don't recast it, after I pop out, I can throw this back, and all the damage they dealt to me was reduced, so they weren't dealing as much damage theoretically as I was to them, and then I can heal back some damage as I continue to hurt them. So it just really lets you out-trade individuals. So let's go ahead and hop into some footage and kind of show you what that actually looks like. So as we can see here, we kind of start off the duel, and we're able to take this aggressive trade here where we throw out the scythe and kind of jump in, because as soon as we back out, we can throw the Sanguine and kind of heal. Obviously, I missed that second one, but still. And then we could pop the Wisp, so if he stays in on me as we fight, it'll take damage. If not, as he backs out here, I can throw them out, and then once again, heal up. Again, ignore my missed shot, because this was just us 3 AM dueling, so I was very bad at that, but like whatever. But like that's kind of the idea, like with these abilities, there's a lot of versatility, and you can take aggressive trades. Like here I go in with the whips around me, so as we fight melee, he's going to take extra damage, and then as we back up here, I start throwing out Sanguines because I see him casting, and I can kind of out trade him on the casts and kind of go in that route. So that's kind of the thought process with these abilities. Again, it's just that kind of versatility in terms of the Wisp, being able to use it if you're going melee, not to worry about the recast, or using it with the recast for that great damage. And then the Sanguine just really allows you to go heavy on aggression if you want, and kind of out trade with that heal, or you can play more defensive and just keep yourself up and just be able to kind of whittle down your opponent. And the final ability that we're going to be talking about is Purgatory. Purgatory, you call down a pillar of energy that slows enemies in an area for 1 second and heals allies for 40% of your spell power. After 1.2 seconds, the pillar erupts in a powerful burst of energy, dealing 75% magic damage to your enemies and healing allies for 75% of your spell power. It should be noted when it says allies here, it means your clanmates and yourself. And this is an ability that you get from Christina, the Sun Priestess. So this is one thing that I really like about this game is with both Blood Sanguine and Purgatory, you have similar options but different ways of using them. So a lot of the strengths of what we talked about with Blood Sanguine, with the ability to damage enemies and heal yourselves, and that capability with healing yourself during a fight is really strong. It goes the same for Purgatory. So keep that in mind when we're talking about it. It just offers a different way of utilizing spells that might fit your playstyle and overall build better. I also want to note, while we talked a lot about using Power Surge with Chaos Volley, this is also another viable option depending on your playstyle. That's a little less magey, but more like a mixture of melee and range. And the reason why is just Chaos Volley is really strong, and because this scales up spell power, you can also go Scholar with it, so you have that option as well. But the way it works is that you place it down, not the Chaos Volley, you place the Purgatory down, it pops up, and then heals the second time. The reason why this is so strong is because you have options with how you want to handle it. You can place it at the enemy. Let's say we're fighting Jefferson here. We can place it at Jefferson and then engage into it. So as we're engaging, if they throw something at us, we kind of heal through it. So we have that option of a strong engage, which I'll showcase here in a second with some gameplay. The other option with it is if, say, we're fighting this pillar here, we can drop it on top of us, and then the enemy either has to try and fight us as they're taking damage and we're healing, or they're forced to back away, giving you space to make an outplay. So it's a really strong ability, similar reasons to Blood Sanguine. I think those two kind of go hand in hand. You can have flip-flop the two depending on playstyle and build and what you're looking to do and what the situation is in terms of a 1v1 or a 4v4 and how you feel works best. But I still think this is the other best kind of core ability. So we're going to show some gameplay and kind of walk through it, and then we're going to get into ultimates. So like I mentioned, the strength of this build is to be able to take aggressive trades. So I put the Purgatory down and jump in. This allows me to out heal that damage he threw, and then it also forces him to use his jump away. And then over here, a similar thing, we jump up with the ultimate and freeze him for the combo. You can see here, we knock him back, jump into it, and then we're going to Chaos Volley right after this to get a little bit more damage down. So right now we're winning the damage trade. He has his cooldowns up, so he's going to start throwing it back, and I drop the Purgatory to just heal myself, and you can see the health difference of that. Same thing here. We drop down with the ice for the freeze. We're going to jump on them with the leap and then knock him back right into our Chaos Volley. And as we do that, you can see the health bar difference. I'm at like full HP almost. He's very low. And now that my cooldowns are down, I jump back and just pop Purgatory to heal myself. So you have the aggressive in as well as the heal on the way out. Now that we're done with talking about abilities, we're going to talk about ultimates. There are 4 ultimates I want to talk about. I think if you have a clan of 4, this is a must-have. One person has each of these 4 ultimates as you go and fight 4v4. I think they're the strongest, and they all pair so well together in PvP, but also in solo. They're incredibly strong. These are just really strong ultimates that I think compared to all the other ones, they just stand out for PvP. The first one is the Fallen Angel. Now this is a spoiler. There's a heads up. But this is the ability that you get from the final boss, Solaris the Immaculate. And what it does is you summon a fallen angel to fight for you for 15 seconds. Attacks made by the fallen angel inflict amplify that increases damage taken by 25% for 5 seconds. So that's a huge amount of amplify. This is what it looks like. And so what he's going to do is he's going to go around and just wreak havoc in a fight. And it's really nice because he's just this huge distraction where he's just messing up with combos. He's blocking people's movement. He's hitting them and knocking them around and slamming into them. And just overall, I think arguably of all the ultimates, I honestly think Fallen Angel is probably the strongest ultimate. It's just the versatility and just what it brings as a 5th person basically to your combat, and the damage and the amplify it does is just insane. The next ultimate we're going to talk about, and ignore the chat, I'm planning a PvP duel tournament tonight, so that's why you might see it pop off. But either way, the next ultimate that we're going to be talking about is the Spectral Guardian. You summon a Spectral Guardian that shields allies in an area for 125% of your spell power and attacks enemies with a mighty swing. The shield is reapplied every 1.5% or 1.5 seconds. The golem lasts for 7 seconds. So this is really nice because similar to the Fallen Angel, it creates this huge body that kind of blocks things and gets in their ways, as well as creates a nasty AoE around it that can confuse enemies who aren't used to being able to see everything through that ability. And the shield it applies is really, really nice. If you drop a Spectral Guardian and a Fallen Angel at the same time in a 4v4, there's just going to be so much chaos on the positive side for your team that other teams who aren't running that combo are going to struggle incredibly hard. But either way, this is the next one. I think this is also good in solos or duos because it gives you kind of that man advantage similar to the Fallen Angel. And then again, like the shield that it applies is just really strong. So we're going to pop it here. As you can see, it pops up, and this is that AoE I was talking about. As you're in it, it'll shield you, and so it shields that ghost guy. The shield you can see is pretty solid. Brings from 456 to 503, so a little under 50 damage, which is a decent amount in PvP. And it just lasts for a good amount of time. It just adds this whole other element to the fight that's super solid, can block damage, and it's just overall a really, really strong ultimate for PvP. And finally, the last ultimate I want to talk about is Arctic Leap. You leap into the air and strike down on the target location, dealing 225% magic damage. A Nova of Frost erupts from the impact location, freezing any enemy hit for up to 6 seconds. Enemy vampires are frozen for 3 seconds. This is really strong in PvP. The freezing for 3 seconds can allow you to have a lot of these abilities, get most of their cooldowns done, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, that's almost half of the cooldown for a lot of these abilities. So if you kind of time it well, you can kind of buy yourself a lot of time to reset combos, as well as it does a lot of damage. So if you're rocking Scholar Blood, I'd highly recommend this, especially if you're doing that Chaos Volley and Power Surge build. Running Arctic Leap with it is really, really good because it'll allow you to create space to kind of reset and get back to range and get those cooldowns back up so you can continue the fight. But also it also works well with the variety of builds. So this is what it looks like. You leap into the air, slam down, you can see that eruption of ice shoot out around it. It's a really large AoE, and if there's ever a cluster of people fighting, it's just really solid to just slam down on that and just create a lot of opportunities for your allies. And yeah, those are the best PvP abilities, I think, in the game right now. Let me know what you think, if I'm missing any. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I think almost half of the abilities in this game are PvP viable. I think these ones are kind of the top tier, but there may be combos or builds that I'm missing out on, that I'm sleeping on the abilities. And if you think so, please just let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, drop a like and subscribe. If you want more V-Rising content, stick around, or check me out at twitch.tv/redloff, where I'm streaming this game all the time. I'm happy to answer questions, and I host giveaways and all that fun stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time.